Thanks for listening to Sex with Emily. On today's show, I'm joined by 3 incredibly open and honest guys who aren't afraid to let me into their sex and dating lives. We're talking what they really think about casual sex, why you shouldn't fear an uncircumcised penis, their unexpected threesomes, and how to find the male G-spot. All this and more. Thanks for listening.
Look into his eyes. They're the eyes of a man obsessed by sex. Eyes that mock our sacred institutions. Bedroom eyes, they call them in a bygone day.
Hey, Emily, you got a boyfriend? Because my man E here, he just got his heart broken. He thinks you're kind of cute.
A girl's got to have her standards. Oh, my.
Do women know about shrinkage?
Isn't it common knowledge?
What do you mean, like laundry? It shrinks?
Can we not talk about sex so much?
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God, it feels so good.
Being bad feels pretty good. But you know, Emily's not the kind of girl you just play with.
You're listening to Sex with Emily. We're talking about sex, relationships, and everything in between. For more information, go to sexwithemily.com where you can check out our podcast. You can sign up for our mailing list. You can check out our blogs. You guys, we're always posting new blogs and videos and things to help you have better sex and relationships. And of course, follow me on social media because I love hearing from you. It's all at Sex with Emily across the board. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all that fun stuff. And if you're new to the podcast world, we're now available on iHeartRadio app, which is awesome. And we're on Spotify and Google Play and SoundCloud and iTunes and everywhere you find podcasts. And so thank you to all my new listeners. I know there's a lot of you, so welcome. Welcome to the Sex with Emily family. And also, another announcement, you guys, you're going to be happy to know that my iPhone app, Kegel Camp, is now back in the store. I know. It was really stressful there for a few months. I feel you. We had to take it down to update it, but now it's like brand spanking new. So thanks, everyone, for emailing and for downloading it, checking it out. Okay, I'm thrilled. This is the first, actually, on the Sex with Emily show. I'm actually a little nervous. Not really nervous. Well, a little bit. No, you guys, this is a whole new jam. Okay, so we did a show a few weeks ago. We had 3 women in the studio, and I've done a few of these. I've had the women, female roundtables that come out. I think we called it Real Women Talk Sex. So that was a great show. You guys loved it. And we just had a bunch of women sitting around who I just met, and we talked a lot about sex and relationships and dating. The purpose of that show was so we can all kind of get inside the minds of what women want, what they like in the bedroom, what they're into. We got into it, and it was a really fun show. A lot of surprises in that one. And so I thought, you know what? I got some dudes in here. I got to get some guys in here. I want to hear what men are thinking. We all want to know what's really in the minds of men, don't we? So I rounded up some guys. They all have beards. It was not on purpose. I don't know that. I did not know them before today. They're sweethearts and they're ready to talk. I mean, they seem sweet. I'm really excited that they're here. Welcome to the show, guys. I'd love you. I have a first question just to bring you in to the show here. Tell me your name, your age, your relationship status, and about the last time you had sex. Who wants to start?
I'm the youngest, so I'll go ahead and start.
Okay.
My name is Gavin. I'm 26. I am single. The last time I had sex was 2 weeks ago.
Okay. And can you tell me about it?
Sure. So I had gone out on a Sunday day date with a girl that I had been kind of going back and forth with. We used to work together, and we've just been starting to hang out a little more friendly level since she's not working at the company anymore. And we went to a couple of bars. We ended up getting trashed. I went back to her place, and it was just an awesome evening of drunken hookup and just got pretty sloppy, which can be fun. But yeah,
have you talked to her since?
I have talked to her since, yeah.
This isn't even this is like a rapid fire girl, but I have so many questions for you.
Okay, yeah.
Wait, no, but I'm not going to get into them now, but quickly, will you see her again?
I hope so, definitely, yeah.
Okay. Oh, good. That's a great one to start. Okay.
Yeah.
No judgment. Not that it was great. If you didn't, if yours wasn't great, that's okay.
No, mine was good.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Tell me.
but my name's Chad. I'm 33. The last time was probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago on a date with a girl that I had been frequently seeing. We hung out in the area that I live in and went to a few bars, went to dinner and everything, and then just kind of went back to my place. It's the first time she'd ever been to my apartment.
Okay.
It was pretty standard stuff. Just kind of,
okay,
after date making out session, and then
sex.
Yeah, just went into that, and then it was, hey, we both have to work tomorrow morning. So she left. The last time we had sex before that, she kind of freaked out about me staying the night over at her place, which I had permission to do, but she woke up the next morning and was like, oh no.
Why?
I don't know. She was, maybe I'm a snorer. I don't know.
Oh
but
my
no,
God.
she was like, this is moving too fast. I don't, and I was like,
I just want to
that's
bang you,
cool.
but I don't want you to sleep over.
Yeah, which hey,
I don't have an extra toothbrush.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm down,
okay, interesting.
I'm down with.
But you're down. Okay, interesting.
But yeah, she was like, man, I'm so tired. I don't want to go home. I was like, you can stay here if you want. And she was like, no.
She doesn't do sleepovers. Okay.
That was kind of her thing. So that was fine with me. So
Okay.
she got a.
And are you going to see her again?
Yeah. We're supposed to see each other within this next week. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. All right.
My name's Hartwick. I'm 29. The last time I had sex was, I don't know, Thursday? Or
Okay, so
what day is it? Last
Wednesday.
Thursday.
Like less than a week ago.
No, I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
A couple
a
days
week
ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Wait, how old did you say you were?
29.
29, okay.
Almost 30.
Okay.
It was fantastic. It was this girl that I had met at a party like months ago and didn't go anywhere or whatever. And then I just kind of like bugged her because I thought she was cool. And we went and got a beer like a couple weeks ago. And then like she, for lack of a better term, like just completely rocked my world that night. And then so we met up a couple more times. And the most recent time was with her again.
On Thursday. Wait, but I thought
maybe it was new. It might have been on the weekend. It might have been Monday. I can't remember.
No, right. Okay,
I'm about to move, so my life's real weird right now. So I can't remember
and
what
really
day it is.
fucking good.
Yeah,
So,
it's kind of great.
oh my God. Okay. Hartwick.
Yes.
How did she rock your world?
Sometimes you just meet someone where your bodies kind of work together.
Our bodies just fit.
Yeah, as corny as that sounds.
No,
but
it's not.
There's
Guys
just
used to
like,
say that.
there's no thought, and it's just good. A whole ton of orgasms on both sides.
Right.
With minimal, like, work is the wrong word. It was just kind of
I love when that
happened.
happens.
Yeah.
Right.
It was just cool.
Okay.
I don't know
Awesome.
how else to put it.
So when you said that you kind of bothered her, like you met her at a party a few weeks ago, you thought she was hot, and then you're like,
Yeah,
I'll
we
just
had a
keep
good
texting you?
conversation. My life was kind of chaotic at the time.
Sounds
so I was
like
like, I'm not going to make this even more chaotic. And then things calmed down. So I kind of hit her up and was just like, hey, you were really cool. You want to like go hang out?
Okay.
Like with no ulterior motives, I swear. Like was
Dude,
literally
it's
just
fine
like,
if you, but let's be honest, don't we all
I
go
mean,
out
I
because we
have
kind of
done
would
that.
we
but,
ultimately
like,
want to
I
have
just,
sex.
I just mean, I was like, this girl's real cool. I'd like to like see
Yeah.
what she's up to. Like her work is real rad and everything. So I was like, I wonder what she's doing.
Okay.
And then we ended up at her house.
Got it.
And,
Cool.
You know.
Did orgasms, and you're certain they were orgasms.
Oh yeah.
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 All right. Did you go down on her?
Yes.
You did.
Of course.
Of course. See, I wish every man felt that way. So I'm wondering, was oral sex involved in your escapades, Gavin?
It was not. No.
Okay.
We just got straight to business, which is a little rare for me because I usually do like some good foreplay like that. There was a shower scene involved. Which was nice.
Oh my God. I'm a huge fan of shower sex.
Which I liked.
Really? Before?
After.
After.
Yeah, because it's been pretty hot recently and there's no air conditioning in her apartment. When I get to work, I get pretty sweaty. So just for the sake of her apartment and my smell,
Okay.
just where we ended up. And
Oh my God,
turned out to be pretty great. So.
Okay. So when you said that oral sex is usually involved, did she go down on you?
She did not, no.
Okay. Do you like performing oral sex?
I do, yeah.
Yeah?
I don't mind it at all. I like it. I think it's a good way to transition into things, and especially in the progression of the hookup in general. It's a good way to just kind of set the mood, especially to get the girl going.
Right.
And I don't know. It's just
Okay.
something I enjoy in
You
general.
do.
So.
Okay. Just because some guys are like, think they like it, but they're not sure. Like, they're not sure if she's into, I don't know. There's oral sex is a whole, I could do an entire show on you guys going down. How about you, Chad?
Yeah, there was some on her end, not on mine. Not that I would have objected to it, but that's just how it went.
So you went down on her?
No, sorry.
Oh, sure.
The
So
other
at
way
your
around.
end?
Yeah.
Okay. So she went down on you, and you would have gone down on her, but she said no, or it just kind of escalated to sex. You're like,
It just
hey,
kind
I'm
of escalated
hard,
to
right?
sex at that point.
Okay.
Yeah. It just kind of the two experiences that I had with her just kind of went from straight to kissing, straight from her performing oral sex on me, straight to sex. There was no like conversation or lag time in between any of that. Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever gotten a bad blowjob, or is it like pizza? Like no such thing as bad pizza. Like what's a bad
definitely
In
blowjob?
gotten
high school. I
Right. Okay,
think.
but forget high school.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten
Like in
a
recent
few bad
years.
ones.
What's a
No.
bad blowjob? Can you just explain what it's like?
Maybe I've been lucky, but I haven't.
I can talk at great length about this because I've had a handful of them, unfortunately. I can probably safely say that the bad ones usually involve too much teeth.
Teeth is like the number one thing I tell people, like, no teeth. I learned that in high school.
I'm kind
Well, I wish you had spoken.
You're into see, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing
Well,
though,
that's-
you bring it in after you know the basics, and then you can nibble and bring the teeth in, but you don't start with the teeth.
Exactly, and that's
You
the thing, yeah.
you got to put your lip over your teeth.
Mm-hmm. Too much teeth is the key word there. It's
Yeah,
too much.
okay.
It's and
Fair
it,
enough.
Too much
becomes
teeth.
it becomes like scraping. I would say that probably the worst one that I've ever had. A girl had a tongue ring that she decided to stick the part of her tongue ring into the head of
Ow.
yeah
Right.
it was
into the whole into your
exactly.
right?
And this is several years ago, but she and I had hooked up several times, and I finally had to ask her to stop doing that. And she was like, but you're squirming, and I'm like, no,
I'm squirming 'cause I'm like in pain.
that's the
Right.
pain. Yeah, I was like,
It's just so hard though because
she
you
thought
can't
was
tell.
enjoying it, right? Yeah,
so hard to tell.
So I was like,
Bad
no,
blowjob.
that's the hard one.
Gavin.
It's got to be the right area that needs to be stimulated, the right motion as well, as opposed to just sucking on it. But yeah, teeth obviously can hurt.
What else besides teeth? I'm just thinking it's like, I feel like maybe if she thought blowjob, she took it literally and she like blew.
Right.
But I'm like, it's always the teeth.
It's like high school.
I feel like I need to do a public service announcement or something. Like I feel like I thought people knew this already.
Right. Well, I mean,
Like recycling.
In my mind, the bad ones are the ones
Gotta
that
recycle.
hurt. That's it.
Right,
Like,
okay.
if it doesn't hurt, I can sit back and enjoy myself, no problem. But if you're hurting me, that's when it becomes bad.
Got it. Guys, that's really, thank you. Illuminate. I've literally always wanted to know. And I guess that the follow up to that we'll get to this later. It's like, what is bad sex? But what's your preferred way to meet women? Are you on the apps?
I'm on everything.
Okay.
I'm on every one of the apps.
Bumble.
I go out a lot.
Okay.
It's
Apps?
all of it.
Drunkenly at bars
Yeah.
or just to get introduced through mutual friends.
Okay, cool. Friends is great.
I don't know the just chaos of.
You don't
life.
have a phone,
I don't
right?
know. No,
You said
I have
that.
a phone,
no, I'm
but I don't have any of the apps or anything like that. It's
Okay,
just
so just like
proximity.
out in the real world. Okay, so you guys right now, you're all dating. It sounds like casually. You're not in like a serious relationship. What's going on with casual sex these days? Like, you're all engaging in casual sex. So
Yes.
do you feel like you're moving to when you're having sex, you're like, oh God, are you looking at these women going, maybe she could be my wife. I could have a baby with a child. You're like, oh, I'm just kind of dating around. Like, what is going on with you guys? I don't even understand.
Personally, like I just got out of a really long thing, so no, not at all, and not in a negative way. I'm not like, oh God, I want to get away from this person as soon as we stop having sex. But it's just like not really on my mind.
Okay. Well, you're moving. You're in transition.
And generally, the people I'm sleeping with, I can tell they're kind of in the same place.
But how can you tell? How can you just assume?
We've probably talked about it.
Okay, you talked about it.
Yeah,
That's good.
I'm
You said that
pretty
you
open.
talk. It
I'm
sounds
like,
like
look,
it.
I'm about to move.
Right.
I got out of a long thing. I'm not
Got it.
trying to like.
What about you guys, Chad, Gavin? When you're dating right now, like I know about your last sexual experiences because we're all that close. But do you have a rotation going on? Are you looking for?
I don't have a
Mrs. Chad?
rotation. Yeah, I mean, I'll usually date if I find someone that I'm interested in continuously dating, then I'll just kind of stick with that. I try my best not to have any conversation about it, like, oh, are we exclusive or anything like that?
Never? Or
Like,
just-
no, because I mean, if I don't care if they date other people. I'm so busy with work and projects and stuff like that. I don't think I could juggle like more than just one person.
This woman you slept with the other last
A
2
couple
weeks
weeks ago, yeah. Mhm.
So you wouldn't date anyone else right now?
I'm not actively looking to date anyone
Because she
else
kind
right
of, not because you wouldn't if you met someone,
Right,
but
yeah,
you're just kind of like
exactly.
that someone.
Mhm,
Got it.
yeah.
And for you feel like juggling a lot of women would be kind of.
I think that would, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that sounds incredibly stressful. More power to you if you guys do it, but
Gavin?
No.
It's a good question. I mean, I try to keep a rotation of 3 to 4 hookups that I can go to either just to go out on dates with, have fun with, not necessarily have the commitment of being in an exclusive relationship, but having the freedom of, keeping it casual, which can be a tricky thing to navigate because there are times where things can be said, heat of the moment, that may not necessarily be totally meant, but
Like, come inside me, I want your child.
but exactly.
Hate when that happens.
Yeah,
Right.
It happens to the best of us. So, but your intention could be to get a certain response that you want, but it may not necessarily be.
Come on, put words around it. Gavin, what do you mean?
What I mean is,
Like, she was like, I love you, and you're like,
and I'm gonna say I love you too, but
that's
then
what you mean. Okay.
yeah,
Got it. So right now you've got 3 or 4 women, rotation. How do you decide on a given night? Like, let's say you leave here, who are you going to call? Who are you gonna text? Is it someone? How do you sort that out? You're like, well, I just saw her yesterday, but the other one I haven't seen. How do you rotate?
There's a lot of factors that go into it. I think mainly it's just kind of what's going to be most convenient. There are preferences that I have in terms of who I
like. Tell me.
So
just break it down.
So the more recent hookup that I've had has definitely been something a little more exciting for me because it's a girl that I used to work with and I had a crush on. And then when we worked together, I always wanted to maintain a level of professionalism and not necessarily be the guy that's going to go and hit on every girl that I work with, or at least come off that way. But then when you stop
because
working,
you secretly are.
Well, and when
that's cool.
Not true. When
I'm not your boss.
When she left the company, it kind of opened the door for this, to be able to hang out with her on a more friendly or casual basis. With that, there's like a level of excitement to it, and that it was like this thing that was almost forbidden.
Fruit.
Yeah, exactly. The forbidden fruit.
Because you had that sexual tension building. Like don't you think sometimes it's the best part? Mm-hmm. Almost can be better than the sex sometimes.
Well, yeah, and then
you agree with me?
There was
not better, but it builds up sometimes.
Different, but
it can be better. It can be better than sex.
Second place. Yeah.
It can be better sometimes, but hopefully it's not. But sometimes it is. You're like, oh, that was the best part, and you cut them, but maybe not that aggressively.
Well, yeah, and just looking back, like there were times where she would ask me like, hey, can you help me move this box over into this closet over here? And so I'd go in there, and then we'd be like in the closet there at work together, and like the only thing running through my mind is like, all right, just make a move on her, like let's fuck in this closet right now, like that would be awesome. But then I'd just be like, well, like that might cause problems. I'm at work right now.
Okay, but now you are sleeping with her.
Mm-hmm, yeah, we hooked up. Yeah.
Okay, and how is it?
It was great. Yeah, I was really stoked because it was kind of like this long buildup of.
But now though, there's still 3 other women. There's 4 total. Does she know about the other women?
No.
And then they don't bring it up. Because, Chad, you were saying that you don't ever have that talk. The exclusive conversation, right?
Right, yeah. His whole situation's stressing me out right now.
But do they bring it up to you? What if you sleeping with anyone else? Would you tell the truth, Gavin?
Yes, I would want to be
it's
honest.
Okay if you don't.
I would want to be honest.
Right.
I absolutely would
want
to be
skill,
honest.
Honesty.
I think that I am pretty open to how I approach things. And I also think that with my intentions and just how I communicate, I'm not acting in a way that I want to have an exclusive relationship with any particular woman that I'm seeing or that I'm with. I think.
Okay, can I ask you something about that? So when you said you're not acting in a particular way, would you say like even if you had amazing sex with ex-work girl and you actually wanted to see her the next night, you're like, that's going to send the wrong message if I ask her out. If I slept with her on a Wednesday, if I ask her out on Friday, that's going to be too close together, and I have someone else in a rotation. Don't answer. Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we have to find out, Hartwick, how many chicks are you banging? Everyone, thank you for supporting our sponsors, keeping the show free, and I love you all. Hartwick, tell me who you sleeping with. How many? What's going on?
It's so hard to answer right now because I'm
I know you're moving.
About to move.
You're leaving. I get it.
So,
but prior to the move, in the last month,
2, no 3.
Okay, 3.
Yeah.
And casual.
Yeah.
All casual.
Very much so. Yeah, and openly so.
So you say, listen, just so you know. And when do you have that? I wonder when you guys have that.
I'm a fucking terrible liar, and I get brutal, horrible guilt if I feel like I'm being an asshole.
Okay.
Which I think is a good quality, but also like negatively affects my life. So pretty much I try to eliminate any amount of is Hartwick being an asshole as much as possible.
Okay.
Even if it's uncomfortable in the moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no. So
I'd rather rip the Band-Aid off than be like, I'm juggling these 4 people that don't know they exist. It's like, fuck all that.
Right,
like,
it can be confusing.
I'd rather be, if they were like, are you sleeping with anyone else? And I'd be like, yes, because I don't want to have
right. And then what happens when you say?
And then like Instagram, they're I'm
that's the thing with social media.
Like,
everyone
fuck
knows
all that. It's like such a waste of time to stress out about that. I'd rather just be upfront.
And do you find have you ever had a woman when you're like, yeah, I actually am sleeping with other people? They're like, well, I'm looking for something more serious, and then they're out.
No.
Well, you're saying though, I think there is some truth to this. Is that women, I think, do appreciate the honesty.
No one wants
and
to
that
be
a lot of
fucked
people,
around
and
with,
right away,
you know?
I think that when you start dating somebody, you should always assume that they're dating other people.
Yeah.
And there's no, even if you had sex,
it's 2017 and we're like in our late 20s, early 30s. It's like you're probably fucking a couple people.
Right. Just assume they are for men and for women. Right.
Especially if you meet them on an app. For you to be so naive to think that you're the only one they swiped right on,
Like, get over it, you know?
Right.
Or
Well, no, but I think it's great to be honest. So, Gavin, what do you think? How does that feel to you? Do you think that maybe now you might want to...
You want to come
I
on
know
over
it's
to this
working
side?
for you. No judgment here, because I think that Gavin is more of the norm, to be honest. Because people don't have the language around it. They're like, if I tell someone that I don't want this stereotypical monogamous relationship and have a bunch of casual sex, that it's not going to be accepted. And I don't even know how to talk about it.
yeah.
So don't ask, don't tell.
But by who? You know, like I don't give a shit. Like
Okay, Hartwick, we're not all like you.
Going back to this whole thing of communication, I think that's definitely something that I can improve on because I'm pretty easy to please. I'm really easygoing, and it doesn't take much to make me happy. In terms
Sexually, or just if they like show up
in
again?
general.
Do you assume that they're all sleeping with other people? These women, like, what do you think is their deal?
Definitely. To think that I'd be the only one in their lives, that would just be naive. It's not like I'm seeing them all very frequently.
Right.
It's definitely spaced out in time. A lot of friends that I have and a lot of people that I hang out with, they're from different places. They're traveling around a lot. It's not something that I have like this system where there's a calendar like, okay, this is my rotation. This is how I have it mapped out and planned out. I'm not some kind of evil genius in that sense.
But you said you're not a great communicator, though. What do you mean by that? As far as this, or what about...
Well, just in terms of my feelings, of how I really feel about you in terms of like, is this something that I want to pursue long term? Is this something that do I love you? I'm not a good communicator in that sense.
Do you know how you feel about them? Or is it kind of like just... Sometimes it can be hard. Feelings also another skill sometimes.
I
we're
think
really
so.
good at blocking
I think
emotions.
so. I think I am really good at blocking emotions and, staying in myself. Just with I think a lot of that has to do with just my past and my upbringing and what I've gone through from a really young age. But I think ultimately when it comes to happiness, it's a choice that we choose to be happy by and large. Unless you have mental illness or, other problems like that, I think that a lot of times it's, really easy to kind of get stuck in a place where you're not necessarily feeling fulfilled or feeling satisfied with.
Are you fulfilled and satisfied?
I am. I'm very happy. And I think a big reason is that I don't rely on others for my own happiness. I think that I very much myself believe that happiness is a choice and I choose that way.
Right.
And
but I think that it's also... I don't know. I want to give you a hug right now. I mean, yeah, I do. I just want to Aww. Because I want you to feel stuff. I think it'll be good for you to open up and, have emotions when you're ready.
That's definitely something I can improve on. I know, I don't think that it's something that I'm bad at.
No, you're not bad. I'm
like
just saying. I'm telling you guys, we all have adaptive mechanisms that get us through life. Okay, you guys, listen. I want to hear about the best sex you've ever had, the best sexual experience, and why.
Oh, man.
Why was it the best? Why is it in your spank bank? Why is it the top of the list? What happened and what made it the best?
there's so many different kinds, There's like the crazy in the weird place sex. There's
great.
the porno sex. There's like the I'm deeply in love with you sex. There's like there's all kinds.
So many textures. I get it. Okay, so one. You can think. We can come back to if you want. Anyone else? What the first thing that came to your mind? What was like, oh wait, I can't say that. Say that one.
No, yeah.
Or don't. If it doesn't resonate, it's the best.
I remember. I was 20.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
It was a lot. I was younger than that. I was 19, and she was a lot older than me. She was like 27, which now sounds young as hell.
Right. Older women. Awesome.
I met her at this weird bike ride thing, and then she was just like, "Hey, come back to my place," and then it was good. I don't know.
But here's the thing. What's interesting? So it wasn't necessarily. I'm just going to assume here that it wasn't necessarily the actual sex that happened. It was more like, oh my god, this older woman.
Yeah, it was
right?
kind of the fact that was new. There was I was living in LA for a year. I didn't really know the city. She kind of took me back to this strange house with like a beautiful view of downtown. I was like, what am I getting myself into? And it was, I don't know, it was just
It was like this different, the strange.
Yeah. And it was
Did you ever see her again?
Yeah, a couple times. And, I still know her and stuff like that. So,
okay.
I don't know. Bodies working together.
Bodies work together.
Sometimes that's when it's the best. Can't force that. It's like
it's
playing
chemistry.
music with people.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's like a dance.
Yeah.
Gentlemen?
I'm so boring. I don't know.
You're not.
My best sex was good sex.
It's different but I like your question. The clarifier was like, yeah, it can be connected sex. It can be deep love. It can be, the crazy sex on the,
Yeah.
I was going to say on the chairlift. I had sex on the chairlift once. We were on the craziest sex we had earlier. But anyway. Yeah.
Mine was with a girl that I had met during study abroad. So she was an American, and we kind of went to the same college, and a lot of the students were going out partying all the time, and then one night we just kind of ended up making out, both of us completely obliterated, wasted, not even too much of a memory going on. And then people brought it up to us, and then we just kept hanging out and partying, finding each other at the end of the party, and then eventually it turned into
why was it so great though? What made it?
Well, yeah, to be honest with you, it just oh my God, I don't even know. It was
foreign, because you were in a different country.
Yeah, it was my first experience with someone who wasn't American. It was very foreign
so
to me.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and like the first night that we hooked up, we were both pretty drunk, and then woke up. And for me, morning sex, that's like where it's at. Like,
yeah?
I really dig it. Yeah. So that morning, we both were like, kind of fishing around, like, oh, stuff happened last night, right? Yeah. And then she was like, do you want to go again? And I'm like, yes. And then that's all we did all day long, like all day long. And
cool.
It was
I love
insane.
it. For both of you, it was like an unknown, like foreigner, typically someone you didn't know. Okay. Yeah. Gavin?
I remember this was back in college, probably when I was 21 or 22. I had to go to school earlier. I played water polo, and we had our preseason training camp. And the girl I was dating at the time, she hadn't started school yet, so she was still at home, and her parents were out of town. And then I finished my preseason training camp, so I was in the best shape of my life. And then I get back to her parents' house where she was staying, and it was just an all-day adventure where we fucked in probably every single room of the house, from the kitchen cabinet to her parents' walk-in shower, outside. And it was just exciting because her parents weren't home, so it was kind of like that secretive aspect to it. But then just the adventure of kind of going to all the different rooms in the houses, different positions.
Right.
It was kind of like just a marathon where I felt like almost like a porno movie, and something that you would see like in that sense,
So
that
you
just
guys,
was really
interesting. This is very similar. Did you see this?
I actually remembered mine. It was on top of a fire tower.
Oh, now you're changing your answer?
Yeah, like a year ago with my girlfriend at the time. So on top, like these fire towers they have up in the California mountains.
Right.
We like got onto this list through my aunt, some boring shit. But there's like this big balcony, and you're like, on top of a mountain and then on top of a fire tower, so it's like 360 degree views, just like ass naked. Yeah,
right. So you guys all had like adventures that went on and on and on. I think that's just interesting, like the element of surprise and something different, something new, because sex can get kind of boring. Have you guys been in like long term? You said you've been in a long term relationship.
I have.
Okay, got it. Okay, I have a question. What's on your sexual bucket list? Anything that you're like, I really want to have a threesome? Have you had a threesome?
I have not had a threesome.
Do you want one?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I've had a handful of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Chad?
I know.
That wasn't the highlight?
The sweet, no. It really wasn't.
Okay. They're
that
overrated
tells you something
sometimes.
about the...
No, they can't be. Like, you have to, like, it's a thing.
The sweet, innocent Southern boy over here. I took all the threesomes.
So surprising.
But yeah,
It keeps shocking me, Chad.
Right? Yeah. I'm an interesting guy. This is always it's a very common question while dating and everything else. And
the threesome question or the
bucket list question.
Oh, okay.
And I have the most boring answer for it is that I've probably lived out every fantasy I've wanted to
Come
live out.
on, everyone?
I know, yeah, that's weird.
No, but what was, okay.
So, of course, like growing up, I was like, the threesome is supposed to be like the holy grail of fantasies, so I had one in high school and then had another one as a young adult and then another one as a young adult and another one later on, late 20s. And I've had them both. I've had threesomes where there were me and another guy involved in a female, but me and the guy, nothing happened with us. Just not my bag, but yeah, so I've had them every which way, and I've done a handful of them.
Okay, so nothing on the bucket list. Nothing.
I know that's a horrible answer.
No, it's not a horrible answer, but
like I don't get me wrong, to have another threesome, cool, but in terms of like a fantasy that I'm actively seeking out or anything like that, I just don't have
being
any
in
anymore.
love.
Oh God, that's the biggest fantasy of them all.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
I'm 33. I'm single. Most of my long-term relationships don't last more than 2 years. I come from an area where people were married at 18, divorced,
They're miserable.
married again.
Right.
Most of my friends are going through their second divorce. So yeah, falling in love. I think that'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be fun.
I hear you.
Yeah,
Hartwick?
having a threesome in love would be better. Yeah.
I'm kind of.
You've done it all.
No. I like to fuck a married couple.
Oh.
Yeah, both of them. I'd like to be the other guy.
What is it about that?
Because there's an element of being the novelty that I think would be totally hot. Like
Right.
just being the piece of meat that they kind of
Right?
bring in. I would
awesome.
be into that, and I
Like
haven't
the
done
unicorn.
that. Yeah. I
What
think
do
that'd be
they call
cool.
the right? Male unicorn. I have a question. What do you wish you could tell your younger self about sex? Like, what do you know now? You're like, God, I wish I knew that.
Oh man, that's a great question.
To not be so worried about the outcome of, or, you know, about being awkward about things afterwards, just to go for it. And in my older age, as you become more mature, you realize that it's, you know, sex
26.
is more of just a natural part of life. And
Yeah, it's like not a big deal.
It's
It's
hard.
not something where you need to worry about, you know, oh, is it
What?
going to be
What?
weird afterwards? Or,
Yeah.
Oh,
you
that
know,
stuff.
I think that's something that you learn as you know, get more experience.
Sure.
Okay.
I just don't think so much.
Don't think during sex or just in general?
both, yeah. In general, yeah, in life.
I would probably say, like, relationship and sex wise, to my younger self going through relationships later on in life, the best advice I would give is something you said earlier, is about communication. Like, you know, don't be afraid to communicate earlier. You know, the girl
first
with the
time
tongue
having
ring,
sex.
if I would have told her the first time,
Yeah.
then that would have
Yeah.
saved like 5 different times with that tongue ring. It would have been, I would have been way happier, you know.
Right.
But that's the thing, you know. You shouldn't be afraid to get advice and to be able to give advice.
But it's tricky with men sometimes, I
is.
think.
Some-
and
some-
women
yeah.
to give feedback, right?
Yeah, for me, it's not. I don't get my feelings hurt about it, but you're probably
You have
right.
to do it like,
Many
yeah.
men
Because sometimes you
are
tell one
probably-
man, like,
yeah.
there's like, oh, I could never, I'm really bad at performing oral sex because one woman said that, you know, he sucked at it or whatever.
Yeah.
I like
That's
oral
it.
sex.
Yeah, it's like
so I'm
maybe you
talking
were
about it again.
bad for her, but for
Right.
someone else, you might
Yeah.
be a genius.
Got
you know,
it.
like
That's my first long-term relationship. That's what we had the oral sex talk. She was like, "Yeah, I don't really like how you do it," and she was like, "But this
But
is how
here's
I
not-
want you to do it." And I was
Good.
like, "I'm down because I'm doing it for her. I'm not doing it for me." You know,
You know,
I want
okay,
it.
so this is-
It's
okay.
not that I don't like to do it, but I like
do
to
you
give
really like
pleasure.
to do it?
Yeah, I like to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I really do. But I mean, the main part about it is giving pleasure to my significant others. So if I'm doing it wrong, then neither of us are
Yeah,
enjoying
yeah.
it. You know,
It's like, what are we doing here?
Right? Yeah.
Is there anything about your sexual skills or anything that you kind of have little insecurities about, or anything that has happened that you're like, that kind of stuck with me? Anything that you're like, I'm not sure how I'm great at, I don't know,
Yeah, sure.
using sex toys, if you ever used them, or tied a girl up or a woman.
I mean, I could work on my knots, I guess.
We can help you. You've come to the right place.
Like, I know the basics, but I can't do. What's that called?
You
The
weren't a Boy Scout?
Japanese thing where they
Yeah.
tie people up.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
You weren't a Boy Scout? You don't
Yeah.
know how to, you don't do the nuts?
I need Mr.
You got to join the Boy Scouts, man. They'll help you.
That's really why people
Yeah.
join the Boy Scouts.
I constantly have a fear that I'm not, even though that the relationship I just spoke about, I mean, she and I were 18, 19 years old. That was my first long relationship, but I don't get enough feedback on oral sex to know if
More
I've
feedback
grown
than
about
compliments,
it.
right?
Yeah, if I've grown about it as in my adult life.
Well, let's turn this to you guys. What is there anything that's confusing to you about women? Any questions you have? I'm here. You can ask me. This is what I do. How can I help you? Like anything that keeps you like, why is that? Is that the clitoris? I'm not sure.
Why'd that girl freak out? Because I stayed the night. Because you seemed surprised when I said that.
never
No,
thought
I
it
think
was
there's women like that.
women though. I just thought it was like
Either she's a bad
like some
sleeper,
people
she's-
are weird.
But what about sex? Seriously, is there anything you're like every time, or even if it was your most recent experience, you're like, I didn't know if I should put a finger in her ass, for example.
I don't know. Some people are so different.
We're all
I'm
different.
so useless. Everyone's different. You know, it's like
No, we're all
Some
different.
people are
That's
like, yes, please jam your thumb into my butt, and other people are like, go screaming out the door if you
Exactly.
do that. So it's like, why don't you figure out if they like that before you do it,
that's good. Yeah.
or
Ask
read
permission.
their body? You know, like
Yeah, no, it's
that's
true.
butt stuff, though. You know, you
No,
can't
it's
just-
everything. You should always. I mean, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
one of the big things about sex is that it's really important to pay attention. I think for
Yeah, just pay
guys, and
attention.
my heart goes out to men because I feel like you guys are put in this position that you have to be in charge and control, initiate. You're supposed to know exactly what you're doing, how to like play your body like an instrument. When every woman is different, every single woman's body is different. Like if you put 100 women in a room and they were all masturbating, they would all be doing something differently. How do you guys learn about sex? How about masturbation? Well, what about and also like
I had
masturbation?
an awesome first girlfriend. I had a very awesome, very confident, very in tune with herself girlfriend who literally just
What she?
showed
Okay, tell me one thing she taught you.
how to go down on her. You know,
What'd
like
she teach you?
like she was
I
like,
need to know.
she was like, don't attack my clit right off the bat.
Right?
I'm like,
Best
cool,
advice ever.
I won't. You know,
Like,
wait
go
a
around
bit.
the clit,
Go
around the clit.
slow, you know, and like this idea that there's
Did you know
finesse.
this, Gavin? Chat. This is good advice.
When you're like 17, you're like, you know, about it. I'm gonna put my dick in you. You know, it's like, and she's like, no, there's all this other stuff.
I'm glad you know because guys do that at like you're
Well, they
27,
they gotta
37.
figure that out. Because,
Some men never do.
Well, that's
So
You're ahead of the
you're
curve.
asking just in general, not
Any
the
question.
big question like how did we find out what sex was? You're asking about how did we learn?
I don't know. Yeah. How'd you learn about
I
sex?
took it the other way. Yeah, I lost my virginity really young, like 14, and the girl that I was dating at the time was between 17 and 18. So she like turned 18 while we were dating. So plenty of lessons went in with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she taught you stuff. Would you remember one
yeah.
thing that you're like, every time you're having sex now that you think of her, but you're like, oh, thank God I know how to like unhook a bra with whatever, or
that was one of
touch
them.
your nipple.
Yeah. Oh, it was all of
Just
it. I mean,
kidding.
I was a freshman in high school. I was living the dream at that point. This was all my friends were like a senior, man. Good job,
Okay.
When I first heard your question, I was thinking like, oh God, like when did I learn sex ed? Like this is
That's what I thought she
This
meant,
is
yeah.
going to
Sex
be
ed. Doesn't
this is
mean
going to
like
be
this.
embarrassing. Well, no, it's funny because my mom was the school nurse at the school that I
no.
went to, and so
Oh,
I
that's-
learned sex ed from her when I was in
That's
5th
horrible.
grade.
Yeah, you can't just be like my mom. You know,
Right.
you have to give some context there.
Okay. Masturbation. How often do you guys masturbate?
Very frequent.
All the time.
Yeah.
Like just now when you got here and went to bed?
I did this morning.
Twice this morning.
Twice this morning. Okay.
Last night, yeah.
Do you watch porn?
Yes.
Yeah.
What kind? How do you decide? Like in the moment? What kind of porn?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a
Varies.
naked lady fetish, so I'm really
Which must work for you?
It's one of those weird ones. Yeah.
real confusing.
That started in Japan.
Yeah.
So it was really strange.
That's an
ones.
old Canadian thing.
Do you ever think I'd rather just watch porn than have sex?
Not necessarily, but I definitely see the appeal of not having to work to find someone to have sex with.
Right.
Unless you got his 4-person list going on. But yeah, I definitely like you're
Gavin struggles in his own way.
No, he's doing great. He's doing great. But yeah, I definitely see the appeal. Like, man, I just worked 14 hours. Do I want to go out to a bar, and try to hook up with someone, or do I just want to go home and watch porn?
Do you think it's impacted the way that you have sex?
Yes.
How so?
Several different reasons. That by itself, like if this were the 70s, would I be going home to look at a magazine, or would I actively try to go meet someone more often? And I definitely think I would be doing that.
Wait, because what do you say? But in the 70s, you're saying you'd go home and you have to, the magazine wouldn't be as satisfying. So now that you've porn, you could just go home. Is it more satisfying?
I would imagine so. I imagine porn makes things easier, so it probably makes me less motivated. I would
Interesting.
assume.
So you could think I'm just going to go home and I can just jack off like 10 times. Like I don't even need to. Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it's kind of a deterrent.
Right. And then the other part of it would be the sensitivity part of it. Like a guy masturbating is going to be different sensitivity than having sex with someone.
It's a different kind of orgasm.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And it's changed perhaps for you over time. Do you think
I'm sure it has. Like I've had conversations with women that I've dated before that I go too long about things. But when I masturbate, I can get myself off in 10 minutes.
Oh, so you're saying that you go during sex, you're like, why are you taking so long
right.
to...
Yeah.
Right.
It's because the sensitivity is different. Like the section of my penis that I'm used to pleasuring myself on is different than what sex would feel like.
Right.
So it's not that it's better.
I get it.
I would much rather have sex than masturbate, but yeah.
What do you guys... Anything else? Porn?
It's a different urge for me, It's like sometimes I'm like, yeah, I just want to like be naked by myself and beat off a whole bunch, and then sometimes I'm like, no, I really want to touch another body. So they're kind of different for me. It's not as simple as like I'm horny, which am I going to do? It's more like I would like to have sex or I don't.
Okay,
I guess.
I think porn and masturbation for me is just a good way to wind down and relax. Just with my job, I'm in an office from set hours, so it just to be able to come home, wind down, chill out, just a convenient way for me to get that release.
I got it. Okay, but it doesn't like impact what you're thinking about or fantasizing during sex. Doesn't sound like it.
No.
Okay, you guys, I've got questions for you guys. I'm going to ask you all 5 questions. We're going to go around and answer like rapid fire questions. Okay, Chad.
Yes.
Biggest turn on.
Where a woman would like me to ejaculate.
When she tells you where?
Yes.
Or where would you like her to?
When she tells me where.
Got it. Okay, Hartwick? That's a good answer.
Are we talking?
Biggest turn on. It could be
I like
sexually.
when a woman gets off. That's,
Gavin. Right. No. It's,
When a chick tells me to come on her tits.
Ejaculation stuff. Okay, I love it. Okay, Hartwick, biggest turnoff.
Someone who's all stuck up about things. Like, we're supposed to do it like this.
Got it.
I'm like, yeah,
rigid.
wasting my time.
That's a good question. Biggest turnoff for me, I think, is just being too needy. If you're asking me to do too much, or if it's
that makes sense for you.
Too specific.
You're an island. Got it. Okay, Chadwick.
Shitty.
Chad. That's Hartwick. Chadwick. I just combine your names.
It's one of my nicknames.
That's cute though. You guys, Chadwick.
Cool.
You guys,
Well, that's our
Chad.
Jennifer.
I think he and I are going to be.
You guys could have a voice, but I mean these names. It's amazing.
Right. Yeah. My biggest turnoff is a shitty personality. That'll.
Yeah, that's
just completely get me out of a situation. Like, I mean, an example, like someone who doesn't, I don't tip servers or something like that.
That's when you'd rather watch porn.
Yeah, I'm like,
that's
so
like,
someone's just mean to people. Someone that's just celebrates their ignorance or something like that.
Right.
I just can't get on board with that.
Okay, Gavin, sexiest part of a woman's body.
2017, the year of the ass.
Yeah, just this year. Okay, Chad.
I'm a big fan of really nice hair.
All right.
I so love butts, but I have a thing for like upper backs, like well-muscled upper. I think that's super hot. Yeah.
Like it. Okay. Hartwick, what's the one thing you wish you could tell your future partners about your needs? Like the second she shows up.
Oh, here. If you've never seen an uncircumcised penis before, get ready.
Perfect.
It's not that complicated.
It's not, right? That's
really
a whole
not.
nother show, but right?
It's
like,
really
get
not.
over it. It's
like I'll show you in like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
There's
done
one
and done.
extra part.
Got it. Yeah, and like that's it. Like, right. Wow, get over it. Okay. What's the one thing? Yeah, your body. What do you want them to know when they get there?
I'm going to need to be groomed periodically because I am pretty hairy.
So you want her to groom for like trim you, or you're just saying like
she doesn't need to groom me, but I am going to need to be groomed. Yeah.
Okay. Chad.
Oral sex can get me in the mood for just about anything, anytime, anywhere.
Blowjobs.
Like if a girl just says, "Hey, this is what I'm
Okay.
I'm going to go down on you right now."
I feel like a lot of women come equipped knowing that with no teeth, or you're so golden.
You would think, but yeah.
Cool. Okay. Craziest place you guys can just jump in. It's the last one. Craziest place you've had sex.
That's the fire tower for me.
Yeah, you already talked about it. I
That
guess.
was cool.
Yeah.
There were guys shooting guns in the distance.
Awesome.
Too. It was
Guns.
it
It's
was
hot.
the whole thing.
Not
It
really.
was tight.
That scare me, but maybe in a good way.
Yeah, not at me. So
In a party bus in college around a lot of people on a sorority date night.
Right. Of course. Sorority party. Love it. In a bus.
I was on a second date with a girl. There was a lake, like a public lake area that a lot of people went to and would hike around, and it was right on the dock of that lake. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Right,
Outdoor sex.
Yeah, outdoor, right in the middle of it. We were both drunk, but people had to have seen. Like
That's
there
kind
had
of
been
hot,
people
right? Like,
everywhere.
like people watching.
oh yeah, I'm totally into that.
Right?
Yeah.
You guys should go to sex parties. Have you been?
I
know that's a whole thing.
Yeah, I've been on the list for like 5 years. I'm waiting for the email.
Then you're like, that's planning, and it takes the like.
It's not that hard.
It takes the.
You're in LA.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are awesome. Do you have any questions for me at all? Anything come up?
What's the elusive male G-spot, and how do you find it?
The prostate. Oh, I was going to ask you guys if you were interested in anal play. That was one of my questions. How do you find it? Very carefully. It's great to start like when you're on your own, if you don't have a partner, when you're masturbating. It's similar to how you find the G-spot. Have you found the G-spot yet?
It's up.
So, right? Yeah.
But yeah, you go slow, use the finger or a toy, like that butt plug, but not the one here on the table. Use lots of
That's
lube.
mine.
Breathing is really important because oftentimes, like if you're having anal sex, have you guys had anal sex before with women? Yes.
Mm-hmm. I've done it to myself.
You've done it?
It made me come so hard I started dying laughing when it was happening. Also because of the image of like me with a finger up my ass,
Well,
like
it's-
kneeling on my floor, just like jizzing everywhere.
Your fellow man, yeah. I mean, I'm telling you.
I was like dying. I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? It was truly hilarious.
Right. And how did you warm up? Did you use lube?
Yeah, of course.
You got to go slow because
You
I think
can't
it's
just jam it
yeah,
up there.
you can't. Like it's a tricky area, but not to scare you, but just make sure that you're warmed up, turned on. Use lube is awesome. I'm going to give you guys who are going to get some lube when you go home. Some Joe
right.
lube. It's awesome. I could give you some toys that would help, but really you just want to you could just take your finger and go around the outside and see how it feels. There's a lot of nerve endings there, and then slowly put a finger inside. And it's kind of like that come hither motion, the same way that you're looking for a G-spot, like with your finger, towards the belly. It's the same place on the man. And And we've got tons of stuff on our website if you want to find out about it. Can I have one more question? Because I'm assuming you guys are all straight because that's what we talked about before the show. But have you had experiences with men or ever had any things like that?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was younger, and it was totally cool.
Right? What'd you do? Did you?
It was relatively tame by like my standards now. I just like made
You
out
weren't
with him.
outside
It
on
was
a
all
fire
like
tower?
above. It was outside on a balcony with this guy who's like straight up the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my life. D'Angelo, if you're out there, call me. And that's his name. He's a really good singer.
Of course.
He's in the music.
No, not that guy.
Oh, I thought that was the joke.
No,
yeah.
that would be amazing. No,
So
a different D'Angelo.
Did you
also.
like have blowjob?
No, it was like all pretty much over
Making
the
out.
pants
Oh,
and
okay.
stuff. But like I was 18 or something, so I was like, "Whoa, this is new." But like now, if that was to happen, it probably would have gone much farther because it
It would have gone farther.
Yeah,
it wouldn't
yeah,
have.
Yeah.
So
because,
would you
like
be interested in being?
Yeah, I'd be fine with it. My whole thing is again, it's like if the bodies work together.
Right. It's about energy. It's about right.
That said,
What you're attracted to.
I am straight because I wouldn't want to be in a romantic relationship with a man.
But
physically, I can be attracted,
Okay.
as far as I can tell.
Right. All right.
You know, who knows?
Open mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I've had, threesomes where a guy was involved as well. I'm 100% straight. Some of my closest friends are gay. They call me terminally straight is
Right.
what they would call me because they're very convinced that a lot of straight guys
I know,
will
that's
have
allowed to
gay
get-
experiences, but they're like, Chad just doesn't. I've never had an experience with a guy other than like a friendly kiss,
Right.
almost as a joke,
Got it. Okay. That's
Well, sure, yeah, and it's fine. The threesome did lead into the guy really thought that that's what was happening.
Right.
So while the girl was going down on me, I turned and he was, and I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I just wanted to give you a kiss while you're getting a blowjob." And I was like, "No, I felt
Right.
bad, but I was like, I'm sorry, I'm
because
really
you're like a Southern gentleman, right? Like, I'm really
yeah.
sorry.
I
to
opened the
disappoint
door
you.
for him later on, and
Right,
everything.
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
That was very
That's
nice.
great.
But yeah.
Gavin, you were asking about prostate play, and I think a lot of men. I love that you asked that because there are a lot of men that listen to my show that I think, or they believe in not the men who listen to my show because they know, but there are men out there who think like, oh, it would make me gay, or why would I ever venture in that area? However, like Hartwick can tell you, just it's the best
It's
orgasm
your
ever.
own
You
butthole.
laugh.
It's like, what makes it gay about touching your own butthole?
Yeah.
That's like, get over it.
Exactly. Okay. On that note, thank you, everyone. You guys were awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
for being here.
Yeah,
This was a
thank you.
blast.
This was fun.
Really enjoyed having you part of this amazing roundtable. And thank you to everyone for listening to the show. Thanks for emailing all your questions and for being in touch. Thank you to my amazing team, Ken, Jamie, our intern Shannon, producer Lark, and Michael. And thanks everyone for listening. Was it good for you? Email me, feedback@sexwithemily.com.